Hello everybody, this is Simon with another video for Dectilon's Hard Game Thread. This time we're going to take on Spikeman. And you might expect very bad things of a guy called Spikeman in a Mega Man game, but actually the spike part of this level, everything having to do with spikes, is not that bad at all. Which I think is kind of a missed opportunity, as is having a spike just off screen here for curious minds. In the very first version of this hack that killed you. Well, that was just a bug, sadly enough. This is the Resident Joe for this game, and I do not like Joes. Go away. Man, this weapon is so much fun to use. And also gets you invincibility frames. It's kind of broken, yeah. So, the deal with Joes in this game, as you've just seen, is that they fire off their shields, making them vulnerable for quite a long time actually. This does mean that you can get them in one go with the Mega Buster, and you don't have to wait so long, which is a very good thing, very considerate of the authors. I still do not like them too much, because it's just any waiting grates on my nerves, and there are placements of them which are less than ideal later on. But on the other hand, I do have special weapons, so I can one-hit them, if everything works perfectly, unlike here, with the Aqua Blaster for example. The stand is pretty self-explanatory, it kills you by letting you go downwards. And here I try a very stupid thing, forgetting that the knockback is pretty damn strong in this game. This is just a demonstration of how you can do this in one go, like so. It's okay, it's a marked improvement over most other Joes in the game. So yeah, taking it safe here, and here, for example, if you want to play it safe, you have to wait. Of course you can always get up in his face, jump exactly when he's about to fire, but then you lack kind of a visual cue for that. The block on top here is very nice, because you can lure out the Mega Man 1 asshole, unlike here where you have to take him. And that's always a great risk, because, as said, those guys are assholes. Yeah. This is what I wanted to do with the first one, because shot to the left, the ice bullets deal more damage than the fire ones. The weapon is going to get changed later on though, as I have been told, to freeze enemies to the right and do more damage to the left still, but with fire then. This part. I do not like this part at all. The big problem with it is, first of all, I always tend to misjudge how long I actually have to keep on pushing against the wind until I can jump, because the wind is really strong, as you can see, and the slam doesn't help. As soon as you press to the left, you also get carried away immediately. And the thing is, this entire walking to the right part, it is a nice tutorial. You do need it. You need to get shown how strong the wind really is, and you need to appreciate how much of a help it can be afterwards. But it still doesn't mean that it is fun at all. And this is kind of the way I judge things. Is it fun? This isn't. Period. And even though you can say, and the authors do say, and I have talked with them a lot, that it is not that long, I agree. The big problem at the moment is though that the checkpoint is far, far, far in the future. And doing this over and over again is kind of grating, really. You have to realize though that this is complaining on a very high level, because these, don't know, 30 seconds of non-fun just to stick out like a sore thumb, because everything else about this game is great fun. For example, jumping with the wind works perfectly, the platforms are spaced ideally, and it's just very well thought out, and reminds me very favorably of a very, very good game, Rayman Origins, which also has going forward all the time, just jumping at the right moment, and everything is planned so that you do not have to stop to hesitate. It's great. I don't think I have to talk about the mini-boss at all. It's pretty damn simple and mostly just there to waste your time, in my opinion. See this section here, it's very fun, it's great. There should be more sections like this in a level actually, in my opinion. Here, a big nasty surprise if you hold right, because you have to, at the very first time you fall down, then you will careen into the spikes, will also get fixed. What you also will get is a checkpoint up there, because so far, if you die in this spike drop, It's the only E-tank I've found so far, by the way. Like so, you have to go back all the way to the beginning. Not fun. Every time I died here, I had to press against the wind for 30 seconds, do the mini-boss again, and then it's all over in a second. Because yes, this is Spikeman's level, and it only really reminds us of that in this section. I don't mind the spike drop per se. You being slowed down makes it just fair enough to react by reflexes alone. But the checkpoint placement, as I said, was a big problem, has been fixed, and no, you cannot pick up those unless I wasn't near enough to them. So, the final part of this, again, is mostly just bottomless pits being the problem and Joes, and for some reason it is also the easiest of the level. I feel like you could start with that. On the other hand, having a very frustrating section which you cannot really easily practice for at the end is also not that good. So I'm just going to accept the placement as it is and will not complain any longer. It is really fun, especially because the Super Slam is still, as I said, very broken as a weapon. Here generally all the Joe placement, it makes sense, it is very well crafted. The entire part here is just a really well done level. I don't think it needs much improvement at all, and it really shows the talent our two designers have. This room, I guess, is just meant for farming, because otherwise there is no way the tellies are ever going to reach you, unless it's meant as a tutorial for the telly types, but they only really come up in one other level so far, as I do not know the Wily status, of course. You do want to take up that shooter, by the way. And yeah, this section, not one of my favorites at all. Because the ladder physics in Mega Man have always been kind of wonky, kind of not perfect at all, not easily controllable, and this again makes this section stick out like a sore thumb, because it's just boring. Especially if you take out the shooter, which you really should, otherwise this is going to be nightmare. Then you're just waiting around here, climbing up the ladders, falling down a bit again, and you know, building challenge around a mechanic that is fundamentally not ideal, and the whole challenge comes from the mechanic being kind of broken and wonky. It's just not my not my idea of fun again. Anyway, Spikeman, of course he has an instant kill, but you can see it coming from a mile away, again as an Iceburn stage, but it's even fairer here because he telegraphs it even more and doesn't attack you while he does it. So that's fair. The fight itself is also pretty self-explanatory. In fact, the fight is more or less on the simple side. I don't fault it for that, because it's after a pretty long level, and you need more or less simple boss fights, and even in a game like this. And it has he has quite an assortment of tricks actually to trip you up, catch you off guard, and he does quite a lot of damage. So it's all fair, it's a pretty good boss, and I wouldn't really change anything about him. Even this move slower pokey phase is very doable, even for someone who doesn't have that itchy of a trigger finger like I do. This I don't know exactly how to dodge. Maybe it expects you to slide as soon as he speeds up completely, or just do slower to do less high jumps. I don't know. This by the way how you dodge pokey, and finished. Overall, as I said, Spikeman is not that big of a problem. The entire stage, in fact, is pretty good. A very basic platforming level, but you need those too. And the wind is nice when it pushes you, it's nice when it supports you from below, and it's not fun when it pushes you to the left, in my opinion. Formulate your own. Other than that, nicely done. Thank you very much for your attention.